Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about Docker volumes, how to create Docker volumes list and delete the volumes, and how to attach volume to the container, and how to share the volume to the other container. Those things we will discuss today. I have created a AWS VM, and I just created and installed the Docker. Currently there is no running containers available. The main purpose of Docker volume is so even if you have some data on the container, if you deleted the container, the data will be lost. Okay. To preserve the data, even container deleted. So for that we will use the Docker volumes. Docker volumes purpose is to persist the data even after container is deleted. There are some problems with containers. Suppose if you have a database container, okay, that is called stateful applications. Okay, there are two types of applications, right? One is stateless application and stateful application. Means stateless applications are the applications that do not have state. Means the data on the local disk. Examples are web application. The stateful applications is application that store data on its local disk. Okay. When it comes to the examples of stateful applications is database and Jenkins. So the data will be available on host machine. Okay. So even your container is lost, the data will be persist on your local disk. So we have created VM. On that VM we have installed the Docker. Now to check the Docker volumes, the command is docker volume -help. If you give, it will give the list of commands. ls means the list of volumes. To create a Docker volume, the command is create. See, usage is docker volume and the command. And the prune means it will use unused local volumes. And remove means rm means it will be remove one or more volumes. Now what I will do is I will create a one container without volume. Then if you delete that container, the data will be lost, and we will create using volume, and we will check. Currently, to see the list of volumes, don't have anything. See, there is no volumes available. Now I'll try to run on Jenkins container, and we will create some jobs. And if you try to delete that container, the data will be lost. Let me show you that thing. Docker run -d -p port number. I am running on host port 8080 and container port 8080. If you want to give one more port like API port or master slave port, that is 50,000. If you want to give this port, that should be fine. Even though if you not provide this port, it will be working fine. I am giving the name of my Jenkins, and the image name, container name is this is the official one, Jenkins. If you haven't provided anything, it will be take latest, even though if you provided, or even if you didn't provide anything. So it will pull the image and it will be start running the container. So Jenkins is running on port 8080. I have already opened the port 8080, and let's see. Now Docker ps, this is running fine. And if you take this IP and put 8080. We will get the initial password. Cat. So you just need to get into the container docker exec 190, the container id or name of the container, anything is fine, and bash. Now you need to cat this file and you will get the initial password. This is the initial password. And install the suggested plugins. Now you need to provide the username and password and full name, email ID, anything is fine. Save and finish. Okay. Now when you install these plugins and users configuration details, everything it will be stored on the inside the Docker container, not on the host machine. Okay, because we haven't created any volume set. So I'm creating some job, my job one, and pipeline create. I'm creating some hello world application, save, build. So the job is completed, and I'm creating one more job, building this job. Now these two are fine. Now if you deleted this container, the data on this plugins, everything by default it will be stored on cd var lib jenkins. Lib. On this host machine, the jobs, everything it should be there. And Jenkins home home path. See here Jenkins home it should be there, right? And where the container. Now currently I'm inside the container. See here the config maps, Jenkins and users, plugins, everything it should be there. Whatever we have installed the suggested plugins and it should be available. And if you go to the jobs, whatever we created the jobs, those one, two jobs are available here. Now if I if I exit from this container and if I stop this container and terminate the container, the jobs and these plugins in information, everything it will be gone. Now let's try to stop. docker stop my jenkins docker ps. If you see, you can do forcefully, or you can stop the container first, then you can remove. Docker stop and docker rm docker rm docker ps. If you do, now the container is not running, and even it is not available. If you try to access now, it is not available because it is not running the container. So that we will create a docker volume, and we can attach to the container to that volume. Now to create a volume, command is docker volume create, and the volume name is anything you can give. I am giving my volume 1. So now if you list the volume, docker volume ls, this is the volume it is created. If you want to use this volume and to attach this and to inspect this volume, the command is docker volume inspect, and if you see my volume 1, the name of the volume. So it is giving the mount point. So the data will be whatever the container it is used, the same data it should be available on this one. Sorry, cd data. Currently it is nothing is there. So we will try to create and the container and attach this volume. To create a container, we use the command is docker run -d -p port 8080. I'm giving the host port 8080 and container port also 8080, and API port if you want to give, you can give, otherwise if it is not required. I am attaching the volume. -v means volume, my volume name volume 1 colon the default path of jenkins slash var jenkins underscore home, and I'm giving the container name hyphen name my jenkins, and the image name jenkins slash jenkins colon latest. So container is up and running. Now if you see docker ps, now if you take the same command and you can take the initial password and get into the container docker exec -it, the container id or container name, anything is fine, bash, now cat, and the path of that, Install the suggested plugins. This is the first time, so it will be downloaded all the required plugins, and we will try to create some jobs on this container. Now we will terminate the container. Those whatever the jobs are there in that container, the data, it should be available on the host machine because we created the volume. It will created the folder and it is mounted to the host machine. Now save and finish. Now create a job. Now I'm giving some job name. My job one pipeline. Build now. This is done. Now I'm creating one more job. My job two pipeline. Build this job. Now if you try to delete this container, you can exit from this container. Docker ps docker rm -f, and if you give, if you can do stop and remove, otherwise you can do rm forcefully you can delete. It is deleted. Now docker ps, it is not running. Docker ps -a, we will check, it is not running. Now if you start creating the container again using the same value, and we will check what it is happening. So the jobs which we created, still it should be available on the host machine. Now try to run the same command, docker run -p. I am using the host machine and the volumes -name, the Jenkins and the image name also same. Now if you try to access, it will be created the container docker ps, it is running. See, it is not asking to create a admin user and password. Directly it will ask you the username and password. The home page it is not asked, well, it is not coming because it in the previous volume it should be there the data, initial data. See, the jobs are available. Job 1 and job 2. If you create one more job also, now the same data it should be available. Build now. So if I want to share this volume data to the another volume, now we have three jobs, right? Now if we create one more volume and we can share this volume 1 data to the volume 2. Let's see what happening. Now create one more volume, docker volume, my volume 2 I am giving. Now if you list, create docker volume. create space the volume name. Now docker volume ls, if you give, so volume 1, volume 2. Now I'm creating on Jenkins container with a different port. No, I'm using the same volume only with another Jenkins. So here I'm giving the host port 9090 because it is already up and running. My volume Jenkins, the name of the Jenkins I'm giving Jenkins 1 and latest. So here now if you try to access the another Jenkins with port 9090, take the IP. So here also it is asking the same because this this Jenkins is running on 1990. This container is different, and job 1 and 2, 3 it is available. It is shareable because the same value we can attach to the different containers. It is using the it is using same container value using different containers here. So if you deleted the if you want to remove unused volumes, the command is docker prune, docker volume prune. If you give yes, it will be deleted this volume, and the volume 2 also it is deleted because we haven't used this volume yet. Now docker volume ls, if you give, the command is this one. If two containers on the same host, they want to share the data. So for that one, we will use the docker volumes. The main use of the docker volumes is capability to store the data on the container on the host machine, so that even if container is deleted, the data should be on the container. Whatever the data on the container, it should be hosted on the host machine. That's all about in this session. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.